Your Excellencies, Your Honorables, Ambassador, Consuls, Commissioner Generals, ladies and gentlemen, friends, a very good afternoon to you all. And we are very, very close. Just one more session, and we will be in history books, hopefully. Since the 12th of December, the first day of the RewirEd Summit, all of us gathered here today have contributed towards the creation of a brand new chapter in the history of global education. Collectively, collaboratively, and committedly, we have turned the page towards the start of a new era of humanity. This moment in particular, when we proudly and officially launched the RewirEd Global Declaration on Connectivity for Education, we will leave a lasting legacy for our future generations as they look back at this moment as a powerful showcase of human potential, partnership, and persistence. And for this, I congratulate everyone who has been part of this remarkable journey and everyone else for witnessing its launch today. For us at Dubai Cares, the launch of this declaration will go down in the organization's history as a truly defined moment that reinforced our evolution as an organization that has come a long way for being primarily focused on grant making to an active global player and voice of mobilizing meaningful partnerships and alliances for a better world. As many of you are aware, especially those who are directly involved in this journey, the process of mobilizing this declaration spanned for over the last 14 months. This process that was steered by UNESCO involved a technical advisory group of over 20 multi-stakeholder experts that represent advisory groups, international organizations, the private sector, non-government, and civil society, all united in ensuring that the declaration would provide a clear roadmap for action. The seeds of this declaration were sown many years ago as part of our work around education in emergencies, when we realized that universal access to digital connectivity could prove to be a game changer in delivering education in crises contexts where access to schools was limited or completely lacking. The COVID-19 pandemic emphasized its importance at a new level and highlighted the sense of urgency in which we needed to act to make it happen. COVID-19 magnified the great divide that exists between those who are connected and the billions of people who are not. This divide created a huge gap within and between countries, societies, and people. It is in fact estimated that just under half of all households in the world have no internet connection today. And if they do, and in light of the pandemic, families could not afford to prioritize connectivity over other essential services for survival. If you think about education specifically, although most countries have now rapidly moved towards remote learning, we still have over 1.3 billion children aged 3 to 17 who still don't have access to connectivity at their homes. This represents a learning inequality of the greatest proportions that can have a lasting ill effect on children's future. With education becoming increasingly digital, the negative consequences of these structural inequities increase. Therefore, as the speed of digitization rises, the urgency to bridge the digital divide becomes a priority to prevent unconnected or underconnected individuals and communities from falling further behind. The RewirEd Global Declaration on Connectivity for Education offers hope, as it is structured around 3 core principles that are focused on: first, centering the most marginalized and leaving no one behind; and second, expanding sustainable investments in free and high-quality digital education content; and finally, transforming pedagogical practices to catch up with the ever-changing environment of digital learning. Given that it is fully aligned with both the UN Secretary General's roadmap for digital cooperation and the recently announced Our Common Agenda report by the UN Secretary General, the declaration would be endorsed and adopted by a multi-stakeholder group, including the private and public sectors, as well as the civil society. We must remember that the launch of the declaration is just the beginning. Our real work starts from tomorrow, where we move into the next phase, which would focus on its operationalization and implementation on the ground. We have already started engaging with a number of partners and stakeholders in this process, jointly with UNESCO, as well as UNICEF, as well as the World Bank, and you will be hearing from some of the early champions and supporters during this session. I urge you all to join us in this call to action, because it is not just for us to champion, but each one of us gathered here today will have an important role to play in ensuring its success. Let us remember that one small virus caused one of the biggest crises of our time, resulting in global lockdowns, forcing 1.6 billion children and youth and over 60 million teachers out of the academic institutions in more than 190 countries. The entire world, and not just the education system, was caught off guard with no contingency plans in place on how to minimize its impact in the shortest time possible. Now that we are in some control of the situation and schools return to normalcy, we have no other option but to work in collaboration to achieve a shared vision, prepare in anticipation for new and existing challenges and obstacles, and deliver by taking action to prove our resilience to anything that may try to jeopardize our existence in the future. That's the legacy we need to have to leave behind for our children. That's the legacy they deserve. That's the legacy we need to be remembered by the future generations. Thank you very much.